It looks like we have hit the champion select screen. Not that button.
We are in the champion select picks and bans, and one other thing to note is, Caitlyn traps, you can only have 3 out on the map at any given time, so they're not necessarily used as much for that for the vision, and they're also really strong in team fights if you can use them correctly. The area denial it gives is really strong, so a lot of people would rather use it for that, and Caitlyn we don't really see in Dominion too often in the first place, so that's also another big reason for that. But looking at the bans so far, all of them fairly standard, and I'm actually glad to see we have a Zyra ban, where we've been seeing Zyra nearly every game, and she's been doing really well with the amount of CC she puts out, also with a lot of damage, and such a huge area denial with her Stranglethorns. It's a very strong champion, and I can see that it is worth a ban, and there goes Kha'Zix this time, making sure they ban that out. Do not want half-hearted on that Kha'Zix. And rounding out the bans, we have also Nidalee and Elise, and Nidalee is fairly standard, like usual, and Elise is actually another ban. I'm not sure, I don't know too much about these Dominion players, so I'm not sure if there's anyone on Golly who actually plays Elise regularly, so I can't call it on that, but Elise is a pretty strong champion. We've already seen her use this tournament, and used to a very good effect on top of that as well. Her base damages are really high because they're percentage base, and on top of that she has great escape mechanic, and her cocoon is a really great CC.
50G for Nexus in the chat. If we're lucky, we might see Paisival and Child Sports Panzers play Nocturne. He's an amazing Nocturne player, so stay tuned for the finals, because that's when Paisival and Child Sport will be playing next. That is the third series. We're in the first one, and then after that is Consolation, and then after that is the finals. And if you stick around, you really want to see some Nocturne, maybe Panzers will play it then. But you were asking about who might play Elise on these teams. I know Half-Heart is capable of playing Elise, but I mean, it wouldn't be a counterban against him because he's using it. And I believe Armor plays some Elise. I don't know about Golly, though, unfortunately. But Elise is definitely a strong ban. Sorry about leaving you hanging there for a second. I had to take a bite out of this marshmallow because my throat is a little itchy today, after all that casting from this tournament yesterday. Man, yesterday's games were great. I'm really happy to be back here doing day 2. We're seeing Wukong locked in. Wukong has an armor reduction and AoE airborne. Both those things are great, but the combination of them is what makes them very, very dangerous, because he can Nimbus Strike into Cyclone, and it happens so quickly that all of a sudden your team's airborne, someone's missing armor, there's Black Cleaver stacks everywhere, and it can get really ugly really fast.
Yes, indeed. So looking around, we have an Urgot pick, which is basically the thing I want to talk about most, because he's not seen in Summer's Rift at all anymore. During Season 2 he used to be really popular, but, I don't really know too much about Dominion again, so it seems like he has some pretty long-range abilities if he lands the, I think it's called Noxian Corrosive Charge.
Yes.
And so the Acid Hunters will do a lot more damage and have a lot more range, so he could easily get out a lot of long-range poke that way. And I can also see his ultimate Hyperkinetic Position Reverser being used very well to initiate fights.
Yeah, Golly on Urgot, well, he might be playing Urgot, but picking up Urgot for his team, Urgot is really durable. And, the durability to damage output is absurd. The ratio is amazing. You can't burst him down like you can burst other ranged ADs down. He's not as tanky as a tank. I want to call him a ranged AD bruiser, if anything, if you need to put a label on Urgot. And it's really, really good to have that on your side, because people can't just dive through and blow away your carry, because it doesn't work. He has Terra Capacitor, which also eats some of that damage, and we've seen tons of those tricks with the Hyperkinetic Position Reverser, where, oh yeah, if you dive through him, he just trades places with the tank that's on the other side of the fight and walks away on his little 4 crab legs, turns around and shoots chainsaws at you if he has the skin for it. Urgot is a great character. You defeat him, though, because he's a little bit immobile. That's the thing you have to worry about, unfortunately, is he doesn't have he doesn't have any snap escapes or anything like that. He relies on his durability to just walk out of the fight. So if you can contain him, if you can body block him, or something like that, or apply some slows, he's not going to be able to get away. And that's what you have to worry about if you do play as Urgot. We're seeing Ahri picked up as well. Ahri is a great character, And seeing that picked up, that's probably going to be traded to Mitsuru7. Or maybe, no, Mitsuru also plays Annie, but we'll probably see Mitsuru on Ahri. She's a great Ahri player. And we're also seeing Annie and Diana as well. Diana in the bottom lane, probably. Diana is very good in that position on the map. And Annie, she's a good tanky AP character that brings an AoE stun to the table. I mean, what is not to like about that? Looking at the other side, Brand, we've talked about Brand before. His zoning potential is amazing. He has a stun, but it's most of the positions that he forces. You don't want to stand next to other people because of Pyroclasm. You don't want to stand next to other people because of Pillar Flame. You don't want to stand next to people because of Conflagrate. Whatever you do, don't stand next to other people. Brand will just chain that damage. You have to watch out for that. BB Pop on Vayne, we saw that. That's pretty scary. Mad Supportal, aka Zyra, on Janna. Zyra is the support player in the Dominion community. He is the best. He's never lost a competitive game with Lulu. He plays a lot of Sona and Janna on top of that. He started learning Zyra as well recently. And his Janna is very scary. He's extremely adept at that. And it looks like we're seeing some trades. Maybe he's going to run a different character instead. Ooh, that would be interesting. I expected that pick to be for him. But Peoples also plays Janna. I'm not as familiar with Zyra's Maokai, though. The thing that's making me raise an eyebrow is we see Nasus. Nasus is something we've only seen a couple of times very deep into tournaments played by Payzevel and Child Sports in feed. And outside of that, Nasus really hasn't been used in competitive play. Nasus can be a very durable, sustainable bottom lane. Sometimes he can go up top and play a little bit of a bruiser, but he really kind of lacks an engage up there, so it's difficult to do it. But Nasus in the bottom lane, there's a couple of different ways to do it. You can max Q first and try and get some farm down there, or you can max Spirit Fire first and go for some really aggressive pushing. As long as you have some points in Wither, it makes it very easy to secure ganks on your side. Plus, you have an armor reduction, so if someone wanted to come down for a gank that was an AD champion, then it would be really, really useful to be ganking for Nasus because Spirit Fire has the armor reduction. So you have Wither, someone comes down, you get into a fight, you can stay alive in that fight for a little while, make them think that it's a real fight, not a gank, throw the Wither on them, your teammate reveals themselves, and the guy that you were fighting gets a free trip back to the summer platform.
Yeah, not to mention his ultimate as well, giving him a gigantic boost of health, and also an AoE that damages people over time. And so long as you're standing near Nasus while he has his ultimate up, you will be taking damage, so in teamfights he's also going to be a really big use as well. And in the bot lane in specific, Ro4 is going to have a pretty good time because he can bait people with that ultimate, getting that huge burst of health. And it's not even a heal, it's an actual, he gains health, like maximum health technically. So it's sort of like a Lulu ult where you can't mitigate it with something like Ignite. It looks like Mitsuru has picked up Ignite, so you know, it's not going to be as effective against someone like Nasus, so it's going to be an interesting game to see. I really... And going back to what you said before, Mad Supportal actually not playing the Janna and instead playing Maokai, so... I don't know, do you think Commander Peoples is going to build more towards an AP Janna?
Well, Peoples in particular, yeah. I think he's more inclined than other players to mix some AP into his build. I don't necessarily know about going full AP Janna. There was only a couple players that ever really did that, but Peoples is a person that likes to mix in a little bit more damage with his Janna play, at least historically speaking, from what I know, commentating his gameplay.
Alright, so, taking a look at this, we have 50 seconds left on the delay. And the overall team comps, I think the Golly has quite a bit of... They have quite a bit of AP damage, and they also have quite a bit of AD damage, as well as the armor reduction from Wukong. But they're sort of lacking that main tank that Maokai is going to be for Clueless. So we could see a tankier sort of... You know, we could see Urgot build more towards the tankier side of things rather than the damage side. Or they could just be going for the full-on, let's try to kill them before they have time to react. Because we also have the Wukong knockup into a stun from Annie into a moonfall from Diana. They could very well kill everyone before they have a chance to react, which might also be what they're going with right there.
Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, I know. That was intentional. Well, apparently, the players actually did intend to switch Mao and Janna. So, Zamike was intended to get that champion. They were switching to move other things around, I guess, and forgot to swap that. So maybe they'll get in touch with one of the admins. It's still very early in the game, so a remake is possible in that situation. But we will have to see if they can get in touch with someone. For players competing, we're not admins. We're here commentating. We're just trying to help out, promote, and put on the show for you guys. So we don't actually have any authority to make any of those decisions.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So we'll see how that gets resolved if they do get to remake, and if they caught that, and if they called for a remake before, I think a point is captured or someone.
I think there was something in the rules about there being a 2-minute rule, but we will find an answer to that. But for now, we got to assume that the game's going to go this way. So let's go ahead and introduce these two teams. This is going to be Game 2 of the second semifinals match that we're commentating. And, looks like a remake. We just got confirmation that a remake is okay. So we're going to go ahead and take all the King's horses and all the King's men and put this game lobby back together again. So I'm going to cut away for just a moment while we reassemble both teams in a lobby and get back to this loading screen.
And it's pretty good that we will see both of these teams play their intended team comps. So the rematch is going to be made. Does that mean I can just exit out of this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
In worst case scenario, I mean, I drop inspect someone, and then you would add me and drop inspect me, and then everyone's happy.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So that sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to cut away for just a moment while we get that arranged.
Yeah, it looks like since all the picks are going to stay the exact same, the players don't really need to ban normal bans. Aatrox and Draven banned out, and Thresh in this game, but, standard bans from Team Clueless, so not really too much of a differing strategy right there, but they will end up picking up the same champions they had before. So we're just sort of waiting until that actually happens, but yeah, there's not too much to talk about other than that.
Well, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and plug the sponsors real quick, because I'm very thankful to be able to come cast this weekend. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy commentating this game mode, and it's really great to be here. I said that already. But hey, LoLPro.com, that is the site that put this all together, and they have guides for Dominion. If you don't know a lot about Dominion and the way champions work in Dominion and how to build them, and you want to learn more, LoLPro.com. LoLPro.com is the place to go, and I'll even show you what to do when you get there. LoLPro.com/guides. From the main page, you click on Pro Guides at the top. It'll take you to this page here, and you can just browse through all of the different ones and pick the champion that you like the most and learn how to play them and build them in Dominion.
I see Anivia on that list. Does she get some love in Dominion?
Nyx87 plays a whole bunch of Anivia, and Sauron has played Anivia. Anivia has seen some competition. She was played in the finals of a tournament a week ago by Carnival, and Anivia is amazing because her ultimate covers such a massive area. It's very good for delaying on towers. Her wall is great. The problem with Anivia is very slow. That is the thing that you have to watch out for. Anivia is very slow, and she can be killed quite easily. So you have to play her very, very safe. And yeah, Carnivia, that's the thing. Carnival Anivia, last week's tournament. Oh man, that was amazing. Which, there are other Dominion tournaments. For you guys that like Dominion competition or want to get involved in Dominion competition yourselves, there is a tournament that happens weekly, except for this week, which they took the week off, so I could come out here and commentate this for LoLPro. But next week, Dominate Dominion and the Dominion community, they have a tournament that runs on twitch.tv/DominateDominion. It happens on Saturdays. It's free to enter. The signups for that are through MobiFire. And if you want to make use of all these LoLPro guides, and you want to learn from them and test it out in a tournament environment, Dominate Dominion 67 is next week. So go to MobiFire, go to tournaments, and check there for registrations. Bring your friends. It's free to enter. If you were going to play Dominion anyway, why not have a chance at winning some RP for it? Maybe get your game cast by me. It'd be pretty cool, I think. And then you could say, hey, I play Dominion competitively. I think I know what I'm talking about. You're allowed to use that in arguments. So it gives you all the bragging rights associated with it as well. And if you like me and want to learn more about me, or you tolerate me enough just to have a passing curiosity, at VatoClan on Twitter is where you can follow my Gaming Clan's media, and my Gaming Clan's YouTube channel, youtube.com/VatoClan, for a video about a lot of different things Dominion related, and some live event media as well.
And if you like me, you can find me at Azaraki Dragon. Normally I do a lot more Summoner's Rift things. I don't know if you guys have heard of the MobiFire Challenger series, but you can find me casting there a lot of times as well, but that's mainly Summoner's Rift. And beyond that, I don't really do too much Dominion, but I'm starting to break out into more games as well, and I hope to actually get some FPS casting in at some point. I'm trying to find which game I can actually cast right there, because some of the games aren't necessarily stable, and I want to see if there's something I can lock myself into and show up on the scene fairly early, so that I can be a little bit more of one of the first, in quotes, casters for whichever game that is. So hopefully that'll work out. And in the meantime, we have about 30 seconds left in the delay, and running over the team comps one last time, we have Nidalee playing Wukong, and that's going to be really synergizing very well with the rest of his team, with Annie, who can drop Tibbers for an even longer stun, even more damage. They can also combo that up with the Moonfall from Diana, so that's going to draw everyone into Diana, as well as do a lot more damage on top of that. So those three ultimate stacks can be extremely strong, and if they have enough damage, then that can outright kill most of the squishy members of the other team that they're facing against. So that's also pretty possible as well. So I want to see how these games actually end up going, but it looks like we will finally be getting into the loading screen this time, and hopefully there is no cause for another remake.
I certainly hope not. My League client has been chirping, but I'm not an admin, so I can't address the concerns that people have. But a summoner spell had changed between the last game and this one, and I don't know particularly which one. I didn't get to see. I heard that it was the Ignite. I think there's an extra CV, and I see an Ignite that I don't remember seeing before.
I remember the Ignite on Ahri because I mentioned how Nasus's ultimate gives him straight health rather than a heal, so the Ignite doesn't actually cut it down. So the Ignite was there. I think it was... I can't remember which CV it was, but I don't think I remember two CVs on the same team.
Yeah, that looks different. I don't know though, because I can't really check the VOD while the stream's up, so I can't really go back in time, because normally that's what I would just do, is start and stop the stream and open it. But I'm not an admin, so I don't know. So if any of the players are really concerned, they can address that with the appropriate people, and then I will. Let's intro this game, man. We tried to intro this once. Let's see if we can actually get through it this time.
Oh yeah. So right now we're seeing on the blue team we have Golly, Nidalee playing Wukong, Armor playing Annie, Nyx on Diana, Ahri is being played by Mitsuru7, and Golly is on Urgot. And now we're in game, but I think we can still run through the team comp. Yeah,
if you want to read down the left side while I set up the team names.
So Clueless is going to be running Maokai, and that's going to be played by Commander Peoples on the right person this time. Half-Hearted on Brand, we know he's a very good brand. Mad Supportal playing that Janna and also the right champion on the right person this time. Bebop playing Vayne, and Ro4 is on Nasus, but I'm taking a look at the in-game chat right now, and people are noticing the Summoner spell switch, and they're deciding whether or not they want to remake it, and I really hope they don't.
Well, it ends up being up to the players. Dominion community has always been pretty, hey, let's talk it out. about things, so we'll see if they can resolve it amongst themselves, or if things get silly or not. On the other side, we have Golly, Nidalee Orc playing as Wukong, Armor playing as Annie, Nix87 playing as Diana, Mitsuru7 playing as Ahri, and Golly playing as Urgot.
Yep, so let's take a look at where these guys plan to go. Ro4 looking like he'll be taking up the bottom side for his team, and I think, it looks like Nyx is taking the bottom half on Diana for their team, so those are the sort of lanes that they're going for right now. So both teams rushing towards the speed relic, trying to get to the top lane as fast as possible, and that's generally what you end up doing. And there is a CV there to try to make sure that no one is trying anything sneaky and everyone knows where everyone else is. Oh, a great Pillar of Flame landing on all three members of the red team at that point. Not doing too much damage, but at the same time, it's enough to try to make something happen. Commander People's almost getting caught out. The charm misses, however, and Bebop lands a great condemn onto Nidalee Orc. There goes the third proc on Silver Bolts, and they're going to get quite a bit of free damage right there. Commander People's taking a little bit of damage himself, but not too much to turn this fight in anyone's favor quite yet.
And some poke back and forth. Mitsuru down around the bottom. Mitsuru loves to throw the taunts and orb deceptions up around this bottom right-hand side of the windmill. So if you ever play against her, don't get too close to that. Armor goes down up at the top, half-hard being defeated as well. 3v3 now. People's hanging out in the back. Still more damage being exchanged. Very slow windmill fight so far. Nidalee Orc moving in, but unfortunately, he might be able to get away. Will it happen? Supportal? Yes, takes him down.
Oh, but that Orb of Deception able to pick up the kill for cleaning that up, and Half-Hearted already using his revive, getting back into the lane, and so has everyone at this point. The early revives to try to get back to the top lane as fast as possible, but it looks like Golly is actually going to be able to take the first windmill take of the game, and they're going to be able to do that. Armor gets caught out, however, the Condemn pinning her to a wall, and that is going to be a very dead Annie, and now at this point, Commander Peoples going ahead a little bit. The CV, I'm not sure, they already have sight of the lane, so I'm not sure why that CV was placed where it was, but Ro4 and Nidalee in duking it out in the bottom lane. I think they could have used Nidalee in the top lane a little bit, but at the same time, if Nyx isn't there, they do want to hold that tower.
Yeah, Nix87 was actually forced really low in health by Ro4. I caught that on camera at the last moments of Wukong. Actually had to come down there to bail out Diana, which saves Diana's revive. It costs them the windmill, but the windmill they can just go get back later, no problem. But with the bottom lane gets imbalanced, that can carry way later into the game. Half-Hard, Half-Hard barely escaping. Supported with the Monsoon there. Nidalee Orc coming into the fight and retreating with that decoy, able to escape. He's probably going to be called back, I would expect, or maybe he's going to relic and return. Who knows? Remains to be seen. The CV from Commander Peoples is, was it from Peoples? I think it was from Peoples, yeah. Commander Peoples threw down the CV there, and Mad Supportal and Annie had a little bit of disagreement. Mitsuru connecting. Oh, the stun from Annie's Supportal gets caught and sent back to the summoner platform. That's unexpected.
Oh yeah, really unexpected, and at this point Bebop is now zoned out as well. Nidalee Orc is sitting over there trying to make as much happen, and there he goes. Nimbus Strike through the wall, going to pick up the kill onto Half-Hearted, but it looks like Maokai has something to say about that as Nidalee Orc gets taken down by Commander Peoples. And at this point, it is a 1v3, but he's still going to try to poke out as much as he can. Those saplings are a great way to try to stop people from taking from capturing the points. It looks like he's going to Twisted Advance onto Tibbers, and
Tibbers' final boss.
Oh yeah.
He was down there in the bottom. Annie with the Tibbers, you can use Tibbers to zone people away by placing it out away in this area of the map, or anywhere else just slightly off a point that forces them to have to go through Tibbers in order to get to you. You can body block a little bit with it too, and that's just free damage. Or they'll stop, even better, they'll stop to fight Tibbers, which wastes even more time.
And one other thing that I would like to note about Tibbers is that recently he has been buffed to make it a little bit more of a threat rather than just, okay, Tibbers was dropped, now he's just kind of there. So he does more damage on his auto attacks, and the sort of Sunfire Cape passive that he has is a little bit stronger as well. So that's something that helps her zone people out with Tibbers if she decides to use it that way. But back in the top lane, Commander People's going in for another initiation, and Bebop is being hyperkinetic position reversed right there, and there goes quite a bit of damage. Nidalee Orc is still in the middle of the fight. I think he might have decoy baited. And there goes the rest of the team by Mitsuru, getting exhausted in that fight, not able to do any damage with his ultimate. However, it might not matter, as Golly is still in the backline doing as much damage as possible. One last Incinerators from Annie is going to be able to pick up the kill onto Maokai, and Bebop is now with an exhaust, or with an ignite on him, and the heal is just actually barely keeping him alive, and they're going to be able to come out of that engagement a little bit farther ahead of Golly so far, but it looks like Armor has something to say about that. They're trying their best to knock someone out, and there goes Armor. He's going to get taken down right there really quickly by Half-Hearted, showing that he is a great brand player, and it looks like they will actually end up taking this windmill back into their own favor. And yes, Golly, there's nothing he can do 1v3 about this.
Golly was working really hard. He wanted to find any way that he could neutral that tower, but was unable to do so, so he's going to take the opportunity now to recall. And bottom lane, Ro4 once again has Nyx pushed up against the tower, and with that Spirit Fire for even more damage on him. If he keeps feeding minions in this tower, it will eventually go neutral, so they're going to have to bring someone down here to gank him, but Peoples and Nidalee Orc have had a disagreement over by the Speed Shrine, and Ro4, there is the Wither Cyclone being used by Nidalee Orc. Armor connects with Ro4 for a little bit of damage. Nidalee Orc looks like he may go down here. No, he is going to be able to decoy away just barely, although activating the sapling, and it's going to pick up the kill. He almost got past it with the decoy.
Oh, very nice sapling right there from Commander Peoples. So proving that he is the one that they want Maokai in. So far, this game is actually really close. 408 to 412. There's a 6-point difference in this game so far, and most of that, the only thing that's really happened is exchange of that windmill in the top lane. Right now, Clueless holds it, and it looks like we're trying to see another play happen, and it looks like they're just sort of ignoring those objectives in the bottom lane for now. They just want to leave those two on an island, have them duke it out for quite a bit, which might not be too good of a plan for Golly, because Ro4 is certainly bullying Nyx in this bot lane and pushing it quite a bit, but Bebop pops his ultimate, and it looks like Armor is going to get condemned a little bit. There goes the third proc and the Silver Bolts. Tiber's doing a little bit of damage, but it's not enough to deter them. Golly taken down by a Pillar of Flame, but now Half-Hearted is trying to run away. Nidalee Orc going a little bit too far, but it looks like no one can stop him. There goes the Twisted Advance. He's going to get Arcane shifted back, and Vayne will end up picking up the kill right there. And the Zephyr Slow from Janna, forcing the ultimate out of Mitsuru, and he's going to have to run backwards a little bit and forcing to aggress ult in back, and it looks like Bebop is on the run. However, Commander Peoples doing as best he can. A great ultimate by Portal, keeping them all off of Commander Peoples, and now Bebop is still not taking enough damage. He's going to try to kill Golly at this point. 1/3 proc on her Silver Bolt is going to be able to take that kill as well. And it looks like Mitsuru is the only one left. 1v3, she's got quite a bit of burst damage right through the shield. Very good shield by Portal right there, predicting that. But however, they're going to have to give up their pressure in the top lane. Meanwhile, Half-Hearted is on his way back into lane, so he might be able to stop these guys from taking it again.
And then we're taking a little bit of damage from Half-Hearted's brand. And we were talking about the bottom point being a little bit neglected for now. They need to have a good engagement top to create an opportunity for them to be able to safely leave or safely break off someone from the top point in order to go down into the bottom lane. They have to have either a neutral position or they have to be in a advantage position. And right now, this is very neutral. They have two people up at the top babysitting it, and everyone else is missing at the moment. So they're roaming around. They do want those relics. You see how often that Maokai and Wukong get down in this area of the map looking for an opportunity to make a play, but they run into each other or something else happens that ends up chasing them away, and they move back up to the top. But now, with all four people Mia, they can't really afford to be caught alone.
And speaking of, that is exactly what Armor is doing. He's getting caught right now. However, Nidalee landing a great ultimate on everyone for the red team. However, there isn't enough damage onto Bebop. He's still alive. He's going to start doing more and more damage. Mitsuru taken down really low by the third proc of the Silver Bolts, but it looks like they will turn on to Golly, doing a lot of damage to Bebop, and he will be taken down at that moment. And Portal is now the only one left still in this fight. Commander Peoples trying to do as much damage as he can to try to save Portal, and with a clutch shield, she might be able to turn and beat Urgot, but oh no, a great Orb of Deception taking that down, and meanwhile, Maokai and Annie kill each other. But Golly is the only survivor of this fight, and Mitsuru now rounding out and coming back up to the windmill. They're going to be able to take this point as well, so they just lost a team fight and lost the point. And, you know, those objectives are still in the bot lane, but Ro4 able to take down Diana and he's going to be able to start pushing it a little bit. Netherrare Orcs down here trying to stop this push. However, we also see Half-Hearted down here. They might decide to try to make something happen to finally clear up this objective.
And they could. Ro4 does have Wither, a very powerful spell, and we're going to see that go down immediately. There's the armor reduction. Brand leading that Pillar Flame very well. Looking to connect, does not connect with the Seer though, unfortunately. Good Nimbus Strike through to the opposite side of the fight. Wither delivered again, and that Siphoning Strike is going to put Wukong in the ground.
So they got a little bit more pressure in the bottom lane, but unfortunately that fight took so long that both Diana and Annie are back here, and it looks like Bibibop is getting hyperkinetic position reversed in the top lane near the windmill, and she's going to try her best, but doesn't want to tank any tower aggro, which is the biggest thing right there. Goes into the stealth, and she's just barely able to pick up the kill right there, going for the health relic afterwards. Meanwhile, Commander Peoples doing his best to fight Mitsuru up there, and it looks like Half-Hearted is here as well. That should be a very quick kill onto Ahri, and they're going to be able to take the windmill back once again in their favor, while the rest of the team, the rest of Golly was just sort of on their way back to the top to try to finish up that fight.
And in the bottom lane, there's a growing gold advantage in favor of Ro4's Nasus that we may start seeing the side effects of as the game goes on. He's ahead by about 800 right now.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty strong for him, and let's actually check how much his Q is farmed up. Now in Dominion you don't normally get as much as you would in Summoner's Rift because there just simply aren't as many minions. He's getting an extra about 170 attack damage on his Q from that, I think, wait, no, not 170. Sorry, 87 for the amount he's farmed that up. But meanwhile in the top lane we have another engagement. Charm lands, but I don't know if they'll be able to do anything for it. Bebop is going in a little bit aggressive, going to try to turn onto Golly, and Golly is now on the run. The Silver Bolt's proccing, but there goes Nightmare Orc. He's probably going to want to pop his ultimate fairly soon, but no, just trying to kill Bebop the entire time. His ultimate is down, and Commander Peoples is the first to go.
And Half-Hearted intercepted by Mitsuru 7, punished for it. Annie picks up the killing blow there. And Netherrare Orc wants either one of these, but he could be one condemn away from disaster. And Mitsuru's going to do that again? No, tries to go for it. BB Pop saw what happened to Zamike earlier and did not want to repeat that. And the bottom lane, Diana did successfully manage to kill Nasus. I'm sorry I was not able to get that on the camera. I tried to, but there was a little bit too much going on up at the top lane at the time.
Mitsuru is going in for a kill on Half-Hearted. Golly taking down really low as well. Forced to pop his shield in order to mitigate some of that burn damage on Brand's passive, and it looks like he's going to have to back off and take that health relic. Oh, no, it's not up. He's not going to be able to get that. And their team does get that extra bonus from the objective that they took. Mad Supportal going to go ahead, CC long enough for Half-Hearted to pick up the kill right onto Golly, and they're going to be able to take the windmill back in their favor once again, but they also need to make a play down here on the Boneyard to make sure that they recap that. Ro4 is going in for it, doing quite a bit of damage to Nyx. One last Q is probably going to take care of that, but it looks like Commander Peoples is back here, and that shouldn't be too hard for him to finish up. One last auto attack, and no, Brand is going to be able to get it. Half-Hearted throwing in a very last Seer, but it looks like Mad Supportal is now on the run as they're making an aggressive play towards the drill, cutting right through the middle. Unfortunately, most of the members of Clueless are here and ready to follow up on it. There goes the initiation.
And Armor taking a lot of damage up at the beginning of that fight. Mad Supportal with the Monsoon, kicking Netherrare Orc back, taking a lot of damage from BB Pop's Vayne. Final out really pay. Whoa, Netherrare Orc right through the enemy team with the decoy. Great decoy play from him. Pyroclasm does not chain at all, unfortunately. Complete denial of bounces from that. And Mitsuru and crew falling back. There's a taunt and some damage. And Condemn plus Spirit Rush creates a lot of distance. And hey, what's the Storm Relic doing here? Mitsuru is going to take that and dash away with that other charge of Spirit Rush. Get intercepted by Ro4, dash away with the final charge, and then finally be put down by the entire team almost. The only one who did not get an assist off that was Brand. Nyx87 coming up to assist as well, but finds himself in a really rough spot. Netherrare Orc has plenty of mana, so he doesn't want to go back yet. He still has a Cyclone available too, but he's really low on health. So he's trying to find a place where he can safely contribute. Uh-oh, Peoples has discovered him. Highlighted now. Can he get in range for a Twisted Advance? No. Twisted Advances through. Misses the Arcade Smash. And Netherrare Orc Nimbus strikes in. And, oh, Mana Recall. Netherrare Orc shows, hey, you can't get me.
And Armor is being taken out right there by Vayne as well. Mad Supportal picks up the kill right there. Commander Peoples going on to Nyx, however, and Nyx is going to be turning on Mad Supportal, doing quite a bit of damage, but taking a lot himself as Ro4 is just in the middle of the fight. His ultimate doing a lot of damage in that AoE, and Nyx going back, jumping in, jumping out. It's really hard to kill him at the moment, and Bibibop is now here in the fight, but unfortunately getting knocked up by Netherrare Orc, and Netherrare Orc almost catching back up to Bebop. One last crushing blow is just enough to take it. However, Madsaportal is able to get that with a last Zephyr, just barely able to finish off that kill, but now it looks like Clueless are the ones ahead in the amount of points captured. However, Golly trying to take this top point. However, Madsaportal has both the Storm Relic and full health, so he'll be able to force him off that tower really quickly as well. Mitsuru is up here as well, so he's going to try to stop this, or try to push down this windmill tower as well. So Madsaportal is just trying to kite as much as he can. Janna is a very, very easy champion to kite around and escape with, so she can be as annoying as she wants, try to make sure that Golly doesn't cap that. And, ooh, it's only neutralized. They're not actually going to be able to get it, and they back off. So it looks like Clueless will remain in possession of the windmill.
And Wukong using the decoy to skip the short distance into the brush, using it while in between the brush. You don't know which one he's going to enter, so it becomes a guessing game. Golly being stalked by Bibibop. That's what I mentioned earlier on in the cast about Urgot being slow. You can catch Urgot. He's resistant. It took a while for Vayne to be able to take him out, but she did eventually. The revive used by Golly to get back onto the field, and Netherrare Orc was able to neutral this tower, dodges the Seer. He saw that coming. He saw that coming too, but is he going to be able to escape from Madsaportal now? He's going to start a fight. He's going to walk up and club Saportal, and all he's doing is wasting their time over here. Wukong probably not going to get away from this, but he's keeping two champions away from the opposite side of the map, which is going to be good for his teammates because they can have a 3 versus 2 imbalanced engagement. And you see him just poking away, just sitting, auto-attacking. Bibibop even turns around to pick up the KB, which puts 3-on-1 at the top, and they could go for a dive up here, and there is no garrison available because they didn't have one this game.
Yeah, they certainly don't, but Madsaportal with a great ultimate knocking everyone, including the minions, off of that tower, delaying it for even longer, and that tower is still doing damage, which is the biggest part of that engagement. If she didn't use her ultimate, I think the minions probably would have neutralized it, and they wouldn't have had the extra tower damage to force them off of that tower. So that was a really, really great play by Madsaportal right there. And meanwhile, Ro4 is in the bot lane trying to get he's getting juked out a little bit by Nyx, but the Vision will be able to see him, and he's going in for the kill. Not quite enough damage to finish it off, but Netherrare coming back in for it, but the CV will spot him, make sure that they don't run into something that they don't like.
An interesting thing to note about CV is that the Revive Mastery, Summoner's Insight, that you take to get the increased health when you use Revive, also affects Clairvoyance as well. It also, when you use Clairvoyance, it will highlight the targets that it hit for the duration of Clairvoyance, even if they walk out of the spell's radius. Engagement in the center of the map. Commander Peoples taking most of the damage. Netherrare trying to close in on Bibibop, not able to do so yet. Mitsuru on the lower part of the fight, contributing damage into it. Cyclone came a little bit late, I feel, but he still got some damage off from it. Mitsuru, low on health, has to retreat with that Spirit Rush. Golly just firing away, staying alive for the majority of the fight before eventually being picked off. And Mitsuru, oh dear, Bibibop has discovered a fox in the tall grass. And Nyx Lunar rushes in for Saportal, but does not connect, unfortunately, with the knockback draw in. What do you actually call that effect?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's sort of a draw in. It's sort of like Oriana's Shockwave. You don't really know what to call it. It is just a form of CC, a draw in maybe. I'm not too sure myself, but taking a look at the score so far, 88 to 252. Clueless is looking in command of this game as well, and unless Golly can push in and capture the windmill and keep it for a prolonged amount of time, they're gonna have to lose this game. Netherrare taking so much damage just while he retreats, but unfortunately he's gonna be able to pick up the kill onto Commander Peoples, who just went a little bit too far. Bibibop, so much damage onto Urgot at that point, and he's going to be able to kill him as well. Mitsuru getting slowed a bit by Madsaportal, and they're really going to have to watch out for Bibibop, which is going back into the fight as well. Chasing on a Mitsuru, and Netherrare Orc is now the one who's on the run, but Mitsuru goes back into the fight, thinks he has enough damage to secure Bibibop, but he doesn't, not yet. The Ignite is still ticking down, and the last Orb of Deception just barely enough to take the kill, and it looks like he's going to land the charm onto Madsaportal. Madsaportal trying to do something, and there goes Half-Hearted. The bait allows him to pick up the kill right there, and it looks like that will draw their attention long enough for World4 to take that tower in the bot lane as well. This is 4 points to 1. 51 points left for Golly. I don't know if they can come back into this.
Yes, with that, when that top engagement started, I went down and looked at the bottom lane, because when a fight occurs at the top when there's a 4v4, then the bottom laners both know that there would be no ganks coming down to their side of the map, so it's very safe for them to get into an engagement with each other. And Nasus won that engagement while Ahri and Vayne were having a little dance over by the refinery. Nasus was able to go up and collect that tower because Diana was dead, and there was no one alive on the other team for the most part, in order to have the resources to be able to send someone down there and still be okay in the upper part of the map.
Commander Peoples is getting caught out by a charm right there. He's going to be taken down really quickly. Nidalee taking a little bit of poke from BB who's going in for it a little bit too deep as he gets hyperkinetic position reverser. There goes the Tibbers as well. Very quick kill onto BB, but that entire time they were taking damage from Half-Hearted. He's getting almost taken down. He's gonna secure the kill onto onto Urgot before he gets taken down himself by Mitsuru, but Mitsuru now chased out by Commander People's one ability of any kind. There goes the sapling. Great prediction. Lands right on top of Ahri's head, and that's gonna secure the kill onto her. Nidalee Orc running away from Matza Portal, but it won't matter whatsoever as oh no, they're not gonna be able to have it. There goes the GG. It looks like Clueless takes the series 2-0.
And we are going to move on to the consolation game now. The 3rd and 4th place game is what we are going to bring to you next. And that is going to be Sofan Cox versus Golly.
Yep, and we look forward to seeing that game. Both teams, unfortunately, getting taken down in 2-0s. Actually, I think every game today was a 2-0
today,
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how it was yesterday, though.
We had a couple 2-1s yesterday, but for the most part, it was a lot of 2-0s. I like the best-of-3 format a lot.
Yeah, it makes it so that even if you make a mistake in one game, it doesn't end your tournament right then and there. That's part of the reason I also like double elimination, but the big problem with double elimination and best-of-3s in general are just the time that it takes, especially in League of Legends, where the games generally last longer than they do in something like StarCraft, where StarCraft games last 10-20 minutes, but League of Legends has the possibility to last a lot longer, and even FPS games, they end a lot faster than that as well. So other than that, that's what we're going to see. So, getting into this 3rd place match fairly soon, but in the meantime, we're going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Curse, LoLPro, Reign of Gaming, and Leaguepedia, and we'll go right to a commercial break.